Are you struggling with why it feels so hard and even painful to walk away from a life you know no longer serves you? Or do you keep thinking about the life you could have lived, the decisions you could have made, and you feel weirdly lost in the life you're currently living? Well, this video is for you. We are going to unpack those sometimes unexplainable feelings of sadness and loss we feel, even though we believe we are moving now in the right direction. My name is Ajo, and this is the Diary of a Beginner, where we explore all the highs and lows of starting over, trying something new, or going down a new path. This is our third video, which tells me that we are almost a month old. Can you believe it? 22 subscribers in. Thank you so much. I just want to take this moment and say I'm really so proud of myself for starting. Like, it took long. I'm so grateful for those of you who have believed in me already from the very beginning. So thank you so much. And if you're new here, subscribe. Like, what are you waiting for? It's about to get juicy, okay? Juicy. Thank you. Let's get to the video. As I said, we are going to be exploring all those heavy, unexplainable feelings that we have, even though we know, we are convinced that we are now moving in the right direction. Like, I should be feeling relieved. I should be feeling like, finally, yeah, but what's going on? What's this heaviness? What's this? So that's what we're going to unpack here. And I'm going to share with you a perspective that helped me make sense of those feelings and just help getting through the days a lot easier. So stick around. Sometime last year, I came to the conclusion that I couldn't keep living in South Africa anymore. I felt like it was time for me to move on to something else, for many reasons. Luckily, I could afford to go somewhere else. Excited about going to Ghana. In all of that excitement of, I'm doing the new thing, I'm doing the scary thing. I just packed my bags and I left, and what. Underlying all of that was like this sadness, right? Like, I couldn't explain why I was so sad. Like, I knew I couldn't keep living in South Africa anymore, but it wasn't anything so dramatic. If anything, I should have been thankful that I was able to make such a decision, without having to worry about that much, But one day my mom walks into the room and I'm crying. I am crying. And it's just like, what is even going on? Like, what's happening? What's going on? I'm supposed to be living my best solo travel life, I was doing the thing that I really felt in my spirit I needed to be doing. When I got to Kenya, then it took another dimension entirely. Like, it took a whole other dimension, because now I feel like, okay, we over the fact that we've traveled. It's okay. Things are good. What is this one what is this you? And this one was like, it was very heavy, and I just had energy to get through the bare minimum. I really was struggling to function. Mind you, I was in a very small town in Kenya, so I didn't know anybody there. It wasn't a big town where you can find lots and lots of distractions, not Nairobi, And so there was too much time for introspection, okay? I spent a lot of time in my head thinking, reflecting. Even if I didn't want to be doing deep introspection, it's very hard not to when you have all that time to yourself, by yourself. And I'm not even complaining, it was very productive. But what I want to focus on here is that unexplainable heaviness at the time. And in all that free time to be thinking, I spent a lot of time thinking about the life I wanted to live, all the choices that I had made that led me up until that moment, and all the routes that I did not explore in taking this path. I started sharing this with a friend of mine, and she told me something that changed everything for me. She told me that was grief, that what I was feeling was grief. And I was like, grief? Nobody died. Nobody died. What do you mean grief? That little change in like the framework I was using to make sense of what I was doing changed everything. Because when we think about grief, we think about, like I did, someone dying, a big fat loss, but we can also grieve small things, and grief is still grief. It made sense that I was grieving the life that I was leaving behind, the comforts that I had known, who I believed I was in this space. I was grieving the loss of whatever I thought life would have been if I had made the other decisions, like being unfulfilled by this academic path that I had taken. If I had just done A or B or D, maybe I could have ended up someplace else. And now I'm sad over that life that I don't know anything about, but could have been my other reality. The truth is that other life could have been worse. We don't know. I don't know. But in that time, my imagination is doing the most. She's out here with the scenarios, right? And I know I'm not the only one who goes crazy because of my own brain working overtime, doing the absolute most in the worst possible way. I also was grieving because now when you also decide that you're going to do something new, it's all new. You've never done that before, right? And I at least knew that the person that I was at the time, and even that person is still very much here with me today. But that person I know has to die for the version of me that I want to evolve into, to come alive. And I know this because it wouldn't be the first time that a part of me has had to die for an alternative version to emerge, right? I had a whole transition 2016, 2017 around there, and there was a whole metamorphosis that happened over there. And I remember how painful and just crazy that felt at the time, right? And this is another version of it where die is a strong word, but a part of me has to evolve. Maybe that's better. I have to evolve into something better to be able to materialize the life that I now have in my head as the one I want to create for myself. And that's painful because me, as I know me right now, I'm pretty chilled, pretty cool. It's just sad to know that this is not enough for me anymore, right? Like to get to where I need to go. Like I could stay here. It wouldn't be the worst life. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But I know that that feeling is going to revisit me again and again and again and again until I finally am moving. But then unfortunately, even when you're moving, you find yourself navigating a whole bunch of emotions like this grief that we're talking about here. Why is it helpful for me to think about those feelings that I had and that I will continue to have, I'm sure, as grief? Well, for one, it gave me the permission to feel the feelings, to process them without minimizing them, and to do it with compassion, because I'm very good at being hard on myself. Why am I sad for no reason? Why are you so ungrateful? Why? Things that I, first of all, will not tolerate from other people. Mind you, I wouldn't even hang around someone who yaps so negatively in my ears the way I yap at myself. Okay? So understanding that I was grieving something, and you don't shame someone for grieving a loss. You let the person process their feelings and go through it the way they go through it. So thinking about it from that perspective gave me the ability, the freedom to feel my feelings, go through it, and be kind to myself. Like I'm going through a loss, okay? Nobody needs to die. It doesn't have to be a big loss. There don't have to be a funeral and rituals around it for you to treat it that way, with that same level of reverence and compassion, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, which I thought was really important, was that it gave me a vocabulary, language to describe what I'm feeling. Because just saying, I feel stuck, I just feel so confused all the time, I'm tired, I have no energy, these are all symptoms. These are all symptoms of something that I couldn't quite name. And being able to say that it is a grieving process, right? Where you feel all these feelings together because you're moving away from something, or you're recognizing that you've lost something. But time does its thing, and eventually those feelings pass. But in that moment, I could recognize it and name it for what it was, and that gave it sort of a container, right? So it doesn't just feel like, oh my gosh, my life is falling apart, I don't know what is happening. It felt like, yeah, we're going through a moment. It's a moment. The last thing that it did for me was that it gave, when you think about something as something like grief, it's well documented, well studied and whatnot. And there is a roadmap of sorts of how you deal with grief, right? So you know that there are the 7 stages of grief. You go through your denial, your anger, your bargaining, sadness, acceptance. I don't know them in my head, so I'm reading. And obviously we don't go through them in this linear fashion. We go through them back and forth, you're going in between the stages, and it surprises you all the time. Yes, so once you understand that, it allows you to go through it with from a place of consciousness, if that makes sense. Like, you're not just feeling things and they're just happening to you. You framed it within a container that allows you to still go about your day knowing that, oh, this feeling I'm feeling right now, I know what it is, and I just need to let it pass, or this is what I can do, and this is where I'm at right now. It really does give you a map, a road map of a very badly drawn map, but a map of sorts, so that you're not completely lost in the feelings. A big thing that was plaguing me at the time was, am I just ungrateful? Because you know what they say about gratitude, right? You need gratitude. You need to be able to look at your life and see good things. I genuinely feel like that's how you attract abundance into your life. So me feeling the sadness and everything was just like, I don't want to not bring more abundance into my life because I'm just being ungrateful for the things I currently have, because I'm greedy for something that I don't even know would have happened, you know? But then I realized that it's possible to hold both emotions. It's possible to feel complete gratitude for the life that you thought the life that you currently have, which for me wasn't bad, and also feel a grief and loss for what could have been, and a loss for what I'm now going to leave, and who I would have to leave behind as I evolve into this newer me. You know, those feelings can coexist within me at the same time. Yeah. So why am I telling you this? They'll tell you that doing something new requires courage, right? And it does. You need a lot of courage to go out there and do something that you've not done before, right? To leave something safe and comfortable, to try something risky. It takes a lot of courage, but it also takes mourning. It takes a moment of reckoning with what you're leaving behind, what you're going to have to do. There's uncertainty, there's pain, there's loss. There's a lot that you lose in trying to reach for something new, right? It's almost like the shedding of old skin so that you can emerge as something new and triumphant. But hopefully, because I don't really know, if we stick with it long enough, if we stick to the path long enough, good things will come. And they will come with a whole host of their own things, but at that point we'll unpack those ones. For now, this is where we're at. That's what I want to leave with you today. I didn't do any new activities because I've been sick. So I just thought I'll sit down here and talk to you. I hope that looking at this transition period, this struggle that you're in, as a moment of grieving gives you a helpful framework, something that helps it not be so completely out of control, right? I hope that it allows you to give yourself grace and to have compassion and to recognize that the hard days are part of the process. You don't get to the new thing without going through the fire. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. I wish there was another way. There isn't. I searched hard. If you watched up until this point, thank you so much. Like, that means a lot to me. You have no idea. And if anything in this video resonated with you, if you found yourself grappling, if you have your own framework for making sense of all these heavy emotions that we have to go through from time to time as human beings, please continue the conversation in the comment section, right? Let's get it going. I'm going to read and reply to everything because I'm here for the deep chats. I'm here for the grappling, okay? The unpacking, I'm here for it. So let's do it. Looking forward to hearing your stories. If you're new here and you aren't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, share it with someone you know is going through something similar. Share it with someone who's in the trenches, and hopefully it helps them, just cope a little bit better. All right, I'll see you in the next video.